What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another day in Car Mechanic Simulator with me, the Virtual Mechanic, and today's beautiful project, the Dodge Charger 777, modded in by Payne. I said we would eventually get around to getting this one done, since we keep seeing it on the drag strip. Let's have a look at this one. It is the 777, 180,000 kilometers on it. We got it from the auction house, slower than 50%, but I've definitely seen a lot worse. We didn't quite get a good deal on this one. 84,430 is what we paid, and we could sell it for 83,625, losing out on 805, which isn't too bad. Now, this one does have in it currently the V8 double overhead cam, a supercharged engine. I am going to swap it to the 2-carb overhead valve supercharged engine, just so we can get some carb tuning in there and see what this engine can do with a little bit of an engine swap. 1,769 factory horsepower as it stands at the moment. That will change when we put in the 2-carb supercharged engine, but it should still be pretty good. Plus, then when we throw performance parts on it, by the time we get it over to the dyno, it should be pretty epic and be able to tear up the absolute hell of the drag strip. Hopefully, maybe we can get a new speederboard champion today. At the very least, I expect this one to be in the top 10. So let's get started. Let's get this one over to the car wash. Let's get it cleaned up. Here we are then, in the car wash with the Dodge Charger 777. Let's just get it cleaned. There isn't too much dust on it. It doesn't seem too bad. It is still very rusty though, so we will have to sort all of that out. And it's got a bit of a white livery on it at the moment. I didn't see that one. Let's get the interior done, get it back on the lift, get that engine ripped out of there, ready to swap in to the new 2-carb even, supercharged V8. That's the Dodge Charger up in the air. That big old oil pan is sticking out the bottom. So let's just go and get the oil drained straight away and get all of that drained out of there. There we go. Out you come. Very clean. A little bit surprising. Very surprising in all honesty. But let's start getting some bits stripped out of here. Let's jump over straight away at grabbing that drive shaft. Out you come. Nice and easy. And out the other side. Then we should have a little starter just there. Nice and easy. One rusty bolt, not too bad. Out you come. And then the main gearbox as well. Nice and simple. Everything's been not too bad. That was a nice, easy start. We'll get rid of these front exhaust sections as well, just to be on the safe side. But now we should be able to just rip this big old chunk of V8 straight out of here. So let's go and grab the engine crane and see if we did actually get everything. Over we go. Ping open that hood. Let's get you out of there. Nice and easy. That is what we like. There we go. Now let's see what we've got going on inside this engine bay then. We've got the brake servo just here, a wishy-washy reservoir just there, power steering reservoir as well. They all need to be drained. Any coolant? Doesn't look like it. Do we have a coolant reservoir missing? No, we do not. We're doing all right. We've also got the fuel tank. I can't get down the back. It's not this big, is it? Oh, it is. There we go. Get down the bank, fuel tank and a fuel pump. We'll grab that pump while we're there. And then let's go and drain all of these lovely little liquids. Nice and simple. Right click, additional tools, drain tool, click and hold on the container. And I'll be back in just a minute with all of this stripped out, ready to work on the bodywork. That's everything repaired, replaced or upgraded, ready to go. We're back on our beautiful little Dodge Charger 777. Firstly, I will show you, I've already swapped the engine in. So we know it's 1,165 factory horsepower from this one here. Obviously, we are going to be adding performance parts, dynoing this one a little bit later on. But now we need to get this body all stripped down. So let's just start tearing it off. What have we got on here? All the fenders. That's most of the front end out. That's the front clamshell. We'll get you as well while we're there. That's all of the front end out. Let's keep going around. Is that a side skirt? It is indeed. Or a rear left fender. Body panel. That's a rear clamshell. Is that just going to ping the whole lot off? It is indeed. Fantastic. Rear bumper. Car part 2 with the lights. Yep, fantastic. Get that piece off there, off with that door, and that should hopefully be everything from the bodywork. Let's just see if we can spot anything else. It doesn't look like it. That looks like all interior. So let's go and grab that interior out. The rear bench is part of the framework, so we don't need to worry about that. It's just front seats and that steering wheel. Now, is that everything? That's not the right screen. 5%. It is definitely not everything on there. So what am I missing? Let's see if we can figure this out. Here we are then. I missed the engine cover, quite obviously, because I always miss engine covers. We got car part 1 just up here. And then if we nip on underneath, we've got car part 3, which is the exhaust under there. Fantastic. That should be everything out now. Let's just double check it. 1%, that's a good sign. and nothing on there. Absolutely fantastic. The frame is at 40%, and I bought it for 84,000, just over even. I'm gonna say 1,500. Oh my god, bang on, 1,500. Loving that. Let's just take a quick look in the body shop for this one here today. We won't be checking out the liveries. They are too long to load. We'll just be getting one on it. So car part 1 is all of the different fuel doors. You just see me pull that one off. Then we've got lots of different rear ends on this one. Loads to play around with on there. Loads and loads and loads. Lots of different exhaust sections as well to play around with. We could play around with the engine cover. I'm just going to leave that standard engine cover in there because I'm putting the scooped supercharged engine on there. So we don't need that. Few different options for front bumpers to go along there. In fact, I say a few. Lots of different options for front bumper and the front clamshell and the front end. And then we've got the 2 Daytona cones. This one, they go for specific things. We're not going to go for the NASCAR International. We'll just go for the normal one on there. Then we've got lots of doors to play around with, and there really is a lot of doors on there. Windows to try and match it all up. Front fenders. This is insane. 16 pages. Hoods, we are going to go probably for either this one or this one. I'm not sure which yet, because we have that scooped engine. We're going to just have it poke out the top ever so slightly. Light options, tail light options, clamshell options. That is a lot of options. This is going to be a long one to put back together. There is a lot to play around with to get this one to look how you want it. Absolutely fantastic. Really looking forward to this. So I'm going to start reassembly, see what I like the looks of, see what's going to work out well. We'll show it to you all when we get it all back together, just before we head over to the paint shop to pick today's livery. That's everything sorted for the body. Let's start getting it all back on. I said I was going to put the hood on with a cutout, but I don't need it, so we're not going to. We've gone for this lovely little dipped hood here, looking pretty sweet. If we go into that front clamshell, we kept that one as it was, along with the front end as it was. But we did change the front bumper to a front bumper H, which is the Daytona one, which I believe this is body coloured when we paint the car. At least I'm hoping that's how it's going to turn out. The headlights are exactly as they came out, and so are the fenders. So let's get them in. There we go. If we just nip around here, I'm just going to throw this part on right now. So we've got you in there, and then we'll get the rest of the clamshell in. I kept that one, again, exactly as it was. It fits perfectly. For the front door, we changed it to J. It's just got these 2 dips in here, still with the painted door trim on there. And for the window, we went with a little black strip on there, and we kept the mirrors exactly as they were. So let's start getting this back together. This rear fender is exactly as it was, with the super wide flares, looking pretty sweet on there. Round to the other side, let's just get all of this back in and ready to go. In you go with the mirror, in you go with the window. Then we've got the rear window, which is the Daytona. Did I miss the windshield? I did miss the windshield. Also the Daytona one there. And then for the rear trunk, we've swapped it to trunk number M, letter M, number M, whichever, with the black fin spoiler on there, looking pretty good. And then car part 2, we kept that one as it was in there. Changed the tail lights out to these rounded ones because they look pretty sweet. And then we got the rear bumper as it was on there. The last piece to go on, I believe, is these exhausts. I've changed them to the black side exit exhausts. You can't see them from here, but I'm confident we'll be able to see them later on. Before we move on, I have got to get this engine cover in so I don't forget that one. And I think that might be everything. Let's just get the interior in. For the minute, I've just left it exactly as it was. I bought new ones, obviously. Changed the steering wheel to the roulette one. I just think it looks a little bit better in there, even if a little large. But these seats, there's a few different options of the exact same style seats. So when we come to painting and I've got the colours, I may swap them out for a slightly different one with the 2-tone effect. But I will let you see that anyway. Let's have a look. Is that everything? That's not the right screen. 93. I'm definitely missing something, so I need to figure that out. I'll be back in a second. I'm an idiot. I think it's license plates. Let's just get them on and double check if it is. I've just gone for 777 on these license plates today. On we go there, as it is the Dodge Charger 777. And obviously Dodge Charger is way too many letters. So that's what we'll go for. Is that now everything? I don't know. 100%, 100%, 100%. It actually is brilliant. Let's get this beautiful little beast into the paint shop for a fresh coat of paint. Here she is then, our beautiful Dodge Charger 777, looking absolutely fantastic. This is in a matte chameleon green into the blue, looking absolutely fantastic. Loving that. Looks so good. I've put a bit of the green on the seats as well, and a little bit on the inner side of the steering wheel. Didn't bother with the outside of the steering wheel. Thought it looked a bit much, especially with the black rear seats. Just gives it a splash of that. And then under here, we've also done that engine cover in a very similar green, just to give it the colour we are looking for today. I think that engine is probably, honestly, going to be a lot of black with a little bit of this green dotted around on there. Maybe a couple of chrome parts as well that we shall see. We already know the exhaust tips are black, currently cutting through the floor, but we'll ignore that one. So the exhaust manifolds are going to be black and things like that. Going to look pretty good. There's going to be a lot of black in the engine and the suspension with a few splashes of green. This one isn't going to be too over the top. I exhausted myself in the last one. You've all seen it too much. And the colour for this one was mostly inspired by the Dodge Charger 777 we actually encountered in the last video. More of a metallic finish. I've gone for a matte chameleon on mine, but that's the effect we're going for. Hopefully, it's going to look epic when we've got it all together, painted, and ready to go. So I'm going to crack on with that, get everything painted. I'll see you back on the lifter when we start reassembly. That's everything painted, ready to go back on our 777. No shocks to put together today. So let's just jump straight back into it. We got the front suspension cross member in a lovely green there. Steering racks in a black. We've got the front drive axle, because this is four-wheel drive, in a black, and the sway bar also in a black there. Let's just get the rubber bushings in so that we don't forget them. In you go, and in you go over there. And then we've got the front steering knuckle also in that green, which means the bottom and upper suspension arms are both in a black, really separating up that colour enough to keep it looking good. If I can make sure I click everything, in we go there, and in we go there. And then if we just nipped over here, the inner tie rods in a green, the outer tie rods in a black, and then this lovely front shock, air shocks, in that green there, looking pretty sweet so far. Sway bar end link, that's also in the green, but that's a metallic finish on there. Front axle knuckle cover in a black, then the front wheel hub also in that matching metallic green. On you go. Then we've got the bearing, brake disc, front drive axle, which is in that green. There we go, connecting into there, looking fantastic. The engine will clip through some of that a little bit later, but it is what it is. Brake caliper in the chrome green. There we go, force chrome on that one. Just finishing that one off. That looks pretty epic. And hopefully later on we'll be able to see it through the wheels. That's the front end. Let's get down the back and get this end all together. Rear suspension cross member in the green, same as the front. And we'll just throw these bushings in now. In you go, and in you go there. Then we've got the rear sway bar B in, and a rear knuckle housing A on there. We've got a lovely little rubber bushing just down here. In you go. Sway bar end link, that's in a black down the back here, slightly different. And the rear suspension arm is also in a black. In you go. No shock on that one today, or no spring setup because of the air ride. We'll get that one in a minute. The rear suspension upper arm, that's in a green and matching all of the framework there, looking pretty sweet. And then the lower one is just in a black. On you go. And then the side one sticking out is in that green, looking pretty good. And for a splash more black, the rear air shock is in a black on there. There we go. Let's get on and get this side all finished up. Wheel hub in the black, and then the actual wheel hub in the metallic green. I keep calling it a wheel hub when it's actually not. Then the hub bearing in, and then we've got the rear drive axle, which is in black down here, because we needed a little bit more black to colour this out. Brake disc, brake pad, and then that lovely chrome green brake caliper on there, looking pretty special. Let's move over. Looking pretty good. We've got the fuel tank in a black, and then the fuel pump just in a lovely little green on there. And if we just nipped it over to here, the exhaust is built in to the bottom, to one of the car parts, which is the bit that comes out the side, so we don't need that, but we will get these main exhaust sections in a little bit later on. I'm going to crack on and finish this side all off, not forgetting the bushings as we go. Then we're going to sort out the engine bay, then we're going to go and build that beautiful V8 supercharged engine. I shall see you in just a little while. Well, there it is. That green and black suspension looks absolutely fantastic in there. We need to get on and get the engine bay all sorted. I have already got the fuse box in that lovely green, just to save us a little bit of time. Not that there's really much in this engine bay, so let's crack on. The wishy-washy reservoir, we've got a brake servo just up here. Then we've got a lovely little battery and a power steering reservoir. And the last piece to go in, we've got a lovely metallic green radiator at the front there, with a black fan housing kit and a chrome green fan. Just to finish that one off, looking pretty epic in there. Let's just come away and have a bit of a look. You'll never be able to see it through anything because of this big-ass nose cone, But if you just come into here a little bit, you can just about see the chrome fan in there. It's a bit blended in because it is very dark, that chrome green, but it still looks pretty epic. That's it for the engine bay. Nothing more to go in there. We do have this front drive axle to go in, which I forgot to put in while I was under the car. So we'll have to come and sort that one out a little bit later on. But for now, let's go and build that beautiful V8. Over we go into here. I've already got it on the stand ready to go. We've got a black block, a black oil pan, and we've also got a black and blue oil filter on there. The innards already filled up. So let's just start getting it all together. We've got a cam gear just up here. We also got the ignition distributor, which is in a lovely metallic green just on there. Timing chain in you go. And then we've got a timing cover in black, which even I thought was a bit weird for me. On top of there, on we go. But it is blended off with that lovely water pump on there in that green, looking fantastic. Then we've got the fuel filter in a green. The ignition coil also in a black and green, looking pretty smart. Supercharger water pumps in there in a black. And we've got the green crankshaft pulley down the bottom with a green power steering pump, and on the other side a lovely green alternator just to finish all of that off. Let's get the belt on. 2 belts? No, just the 1 belt. The other belts will come in just a little bit. The distribution rotor in you go, and then we've got the distributor cap as well in the green. You can see the differences in the same green on the different finished materials. Clip Bs, these are just in the black on this one, ready to go. I can't click it. What is happening? There we go. Try that again. In we go with that clip there. And then let's crack on and get this engine head on. These are in the green. You've got the metallic green on the outside and then that flat green on the inside there. Let's get you on. And then we'll get the other side on before we fill out all of the innards on these because there's lots of parts. In we go with you over here. Looking pretty good. I do like this green. It's not the same green that we saw in the previous video, but it's still pretty epic nonetheless. Now, we need to get on and get all of these push rods in and these rocker arms in. We do also have spark plugs on the side, but I'll deal with them in a little bit. So I'll get them done, and I'll see you in a sec. There we go. That's all the push rods and rocker arms in. They're looking pretty sweet. Let's get this intake manifold in the middle in the matching metallic green to the engine heads, or at least very, very close. Doesn't quite perfectly match, but it is a pretty close onto there. We nip around to the side. Let's just get these spark plugs all in. In you go, in you go, in you go, and in you go. And then we'll get this head cover on. These are in the green. This is a pearl green, definitely a different color green. This is the same green that's on that water pump down there. You can just see the different finishes. The metallic was a totally different color on these engine heads, so I'd had to pick something different, and I think pearl green looks pretty good. The exhaust manifolds are in black on there, but all of the welding is all still in that silver. I love that finish on these exhaust sections. I think they look absolutely fantastic. Let's go around to the other side. Let's get all of this back to the same spot. I'll do that, and we'll move on and get this engine finished. There we go, nearly there. Let's just get these ignition wires on. I've kept these in black, so we've got green and black on there, looking pretty good. Then the supercharger itself is also in the black. I wanted to keep the color separation going on this one. Then we've got the 4-barrel carburetors. They're both in that very metallic-y green up there. In you go, and in you go. And in fact, let's get down here and just get this belt on. And then the secondary belt on just there. Oh, can't hit it. There we go. And then the last piece, which is that big old radiator fan, which is in that chrome green on the front there, matching the fan in the radiator fan housing kit. Then we got scoop air filters. These are both in black. If I could click on them, there we go. And then the last piece is this air scoop, which is in the pearl green, the same as the engine heads. And that is that beautiful V8 all finished. Loving this one. Supercharger on there with the 2 carburetors, looking pretty sweet. I'm going to grab some pictures, then we'll get it dropped in the Dodge Charger 777. Let's get this beast of a supercharged V8 dropped into our Dodge Charger 777 and see how it looks compared to the chameleon blue-green colour on the body with just a green on the engine. So in you go. Let's get the crane put away and then have a look. That's looking pretty sweet. Just that scoop at the top there looks epic. All the black on that. It's very far set back, so it's hard to see into it, but that black and green on there looks beautiful. Very, very, very pleased with that. Let's get it up in the air. Get the gearbox, the drive shaft, and the starter in are ready to go. Under we go. Let's just get in here. I've got to remember to throw this piece in as well, which I've done in the green. Yeah, it's a bit bizarre, but it's the way we get 4-wheel drive to work. So we do have to throw that one in. Front exhaust sections, these are both in the black, matching these. And obviously, as we swap the engine, they don't quite match anymore, which is a bit of a shame. but these things do happen. Then we got the gearbox in a lovely black on there with the starter in that pearly green coming off of there. And then the main drive shaft also in that green, but the more of the metallic green, as that's the colour this one goes. There we go. That's all of the underside done. I've got some wheels to do. I've got some liquids to top up and some windows to tint. Then we'll have this beautiful Dodge Charger outside in the sun, all finished off. Here we are then, all finished with Payne's Dodge Charger 777 in this beautiful matte chameleon green-blue colour with the black livery on there with the Daytona livery, looking pretty fantastic. And then up and under this hood, that engine in there with the metallic green, the pearl green, and some lovely gloss black on there, just keeping it all in. The suspension in the same colours, looking absolutely fantastic. And we've got a little bit of chrome green on there, just for some good measure, along with the brakes as well. So let's talk about them then. Drop it down. These rims here, I've gone for the rim at Retro 11 today. I think they fit the look of the vehicle quite well. We finished them in a matte black. You can just about see that chrome green brake caliper through there. These front rims, these are a 20-inch rim with a 375 width, a 20 profile, and ET of 125 to bring it out in line with this bodywork. Down at the back, pretty much similar, but a little bit bigger. Still a 20-inch rim, but it's a 425 width down here, a 25 profile, and ET of 135 on that rear rim. Absolutely fantastic. I love this model. Every time I've raced against it on the drag strip, it always looks incredible. This one looks pretty mean as well. Let's jump inside, check out this interior. We've got obviously two-tone green and black on the seats and on the steering wheel as well, and that lovely dark wood running through the center console. One of the reasons why you might have noticed the audio sounds a little bit different today, I have rearranged my recording space, I guess I'll call it, redecorated, brand new desk, things like that. And that's the same colour as the wood on my desk, black and that sort of colour wood. I've got silver on the walls, a couple of black stripes running around, and bronze accents. Honestly, it looks absolutely fantastic. I may share some of the images on Discord if you want to come and check them out on the Discord server. Speaking of Discord, competitions are back today, so keep your eye out on the Discord server. 10 o'clock tonight. We're going to slightly change the times a little bit, so 10 o'clock tonight will be when the new year, new competition starts with some mod cars. Let's get this one started, see what she sounds like. Typical V8 tick over there. Still like the sound of it, pretty mean. And it's got a bit of a high-pitched whine, but nothing like the V12s. Still sounding pretty mean though. Let's get this one onto the dyno, see what horsepower we've got and what its drag rating is. Here we are then on the dyno with the Dodge Charger 777 and its supercharged 2-carb V8, 1,165 factory horsepower. How much have we added today and what is our drag rating? Let's have a look. A gain of 1,032 horsepower, 89%. That's pretty damn good, bringing us up to 2,196 horsepower with a drag rating of 999. I don't think anyone was really surprised at that. We've seen this one on the drag strip so many times, it couldn't be anything other than that. So let's get in there. Let's have a look at the gearbox tuning setup we've gone for today. There she is. I've kept 5 gears. I don't think we'll ever use 5th gear. I added the 5th gear to make sure it was all balanced. I've gone for a 1.6 ratio with a 129 kilometers an hour in 1st gear and obviously 600 kilometers an hour in 5th gear. I don't think we'll quite get up there, but we do have both of them carbs fully tuned as well, ready to go. So let's head over to the drag strip. Let's see who we're up against and hopefully maybe get this one in the top spot on the speederboard. Here we are on the drag strip with our Dodge Charger 777. Let's get into it. King of the Sands, 1 mile, A-class, pay the 1,000 entry fee. And who have we got today? Lots of unicorns, which today is actually very fitting. I heard the news earlier today. Sadly, the legend that is Ken Block has sadly passed away in a snowmobile accident, which I am heartbroken for. The guy was an absolute legend, a bit of a hero of mine. It definitely got me into the car world and all things like that. I don't know what's quite going on here, but never mind. But yes, so very sad about the loss of Ken Block, but I'm happy to see plenty of unicorns on the drag strip with us today because it's quite fitting. Our first race is against the Ford Mustang, a GT66. Who else have we got on here? Jackal is in a version 4 unicorn. Lovely to see you. And Mietzi, I'm sorry if I've pronounced your name wrong. I'm not very good at foreign names. Also in a version 4 unicorn. And Left Blot also in a version 4 Unicorn. So let's get into the first race, see if we can beat that Ford Mustang, a GT66. This first race is proper battle of the muscle cars. I do love the GT66 Mustang, but today the goal is to beat it with the Dodge Charger 777. Battle of the Mustangs. Who's going to take the crown on this one? Let's go. Off the line, into second gear. Love to see it. Into third. Come on, Dodge Charger 777. Smash that Mustang. You can do it. Into fourth gear. Where is it? Nowhere near us by the looks of that. So let's just carry on cruising. Don't think we're going to need fifth gear at all, really. Don't think we're going to quite get there. But what will we cross the line at? And what will our times be? That looked like 406 kilometers an hour. It was indeed. And a 7.529 to the quarter of a mile. That is, I believe, that's second place on the speederboard. Absolutely incredible from the Charger there. 305 kilometers an hour. And a 19.386 to the 1 mile at 406 kilometers an hour. The Mustang had a lot more top speed. It just couldn't get there fast enough. We were over a second faster than it to the quarter of a mile. Very impressed by that. Sadly, Mustang, although you are my favourite car and I will always love you forevermore, we had to beat you today in our Dodge Charger. So let's get into the next one and see who we're up against. Still lots of unicorns in. Mietzi's still in. Sadly, Left Blot is out. Jackal's still in. And we've got the Nissan Skyline GTR R34 Drag, which is currently second on the speederboard. I don't think it will be for much longer. That first run from the 777, I believe, is taken in second place. So let's see if we can beat what currently sits second on the speederboard. Just in a plain white for that Drag Skyline over there. Not as good as the one that we built, but I know that thing is epically fast. Can we beat it? I certainly hope so. Let's go. Off the line, into second. Come on, little Charger, you can do it. Into third, and then very quickly after that, into fourth, and then we'll let that take us on over the finish line. Will we get a better run this time? Will it be a worse run? I'd love to get it slightly better. If we could knock my Calope out of first place, it'd be unbelievable. 406, that looked like, again, was the times any better? 7.546. Not better. Very, very close still. Good timing. And a 19.386 was our first run. So a 19.389 is just a tad a bit slower. Still very good. Very, very good. We beat that by a long shot. That Skyline had no chance against us there. Not even, I mean, it reached its top speed by the quarter of a mile. So it's not got the best tune on that one. But a lot of the drag tunes are for the quarter of a mile, not for the 1 mile. Which is why ours is totally different. Let's get on to the next one and see who we've got. Sadly, Jackal is out in the version 4 Unicorn, but we've got to the version 3 Unicorn in the next round, and Mietzi's still in his version 4 Unicorn. Quite an impressive numbers left. I'm quite pleased with that. It's not all Unicorns as I was expecting, because there was a lot of Unicorns. But let's get in and see if we can beat the version 3 Unicorn, and probably end up with the version 4 Unicorn in the final, if we can. I do love the version 3 Unicorn livery. Absolutely stunning. When we do a Unicorn, that is the livery we will probably go for. So let's jump inside and see if we can beat it today. Let's go. Off the line without jumping. I've been terrible in this Charger today with jumping the lights. Honestly, it has been awful. This is the longest I've gone without jumping the lights. Let's get into fourth gear. See if we can get the best run yet. And hopefully beat the version 3 Unicorn. I think we've got that in the bag already. But are we going to get a slightly better time? That would be incredible. Was that 406? It was only just 7.551. We are getting ever so slightly slower to the quarter of a mile. And we're also getting ever so slightly slower to the 1 mile as well. And the more we go on, will our last run be the final run? We beat the version 3 Unicorn. Is it going to be the version 4 in the final? Let's go find out. Well, sadly, Mietzi got knocked out by the 250 GT Bernaletta Electric, I believe that one is. Yes, it is. That Ferrari 250 is always appearing here, and it's always a little sly contender. You don't know what it's quite going to do, so maybe we might lose to the electric Ferrari. I certainly hope not in a V8-powered Dodge Charger 777, but let's go find out. The black and red on that Ferrari 250 looks absolutely stunning. I do love seeing that car every time. Let's hope we can beat this one across the line. It is the final boss. Let's go. Come on, Dodge Charger. We didn't jump the lights. I made it all the way through without jumping. So happy with that. Let's go. Where are you, Ferrari? Behind us by the looks of that. So pretty happy with that. The Ferrari is the one I'm normally confident on beating, the electric Ferrari that is anyway. But let's get across the line, let's get our final time down and see which one is going to be our fastest to go on the speederboard. That looked like 406 again, I'm hoping it was. It was a 7.497. Is our quickest time of the day in the last run with a 7.497. Very happy with that. And a 19.372. Also our quickest at the time of 406 kilometers at the time. The speed of 406 kilometers an hour stayed exactly the same. Well, there we go. 7.497. Is it second on the speederboard? Is it first? I'm sure my Lenticalope was a 7.1 or a 7.2. So this is at least third. Probably second, though. I think it's second. So let's get this one. Let's get it back to the garage. Let's collect our winnings. Get this one on the speederboard. And get ready to say goodbye. There we go. Our winnings of 11,250. I'm always happy with that. Minus our 1,000 entry fee. 10,250 profit. And we haven't done anything yet. Love that. Let's get back to the garage. Let's say goodbye. And get this one onto the speederboard. There we go, second place on the speederboard from the Dodge Charger 777. Pretty impressive there. Sadly, knocking truck fans El Camino out of the top three. Looking pretty epic, though. Very impressed with that Dodge Charger 777. 2,196 horsepower, 7.497 to the quarter of a mile, and a bit of a slower 19.386 to the 1 mile. Couldn't quite hold its legs all the way down. But with the top speed of 406 kilometers an hour or 252 miles an hour, still pretty good. Sadly, we've lost the V12 Fiat 500 off the speederboard, which is a bit of a shame. Possibly my favourite car that I've ever made. But there we go. New top three. A Lenticalope in the first place. Dodge Charger 777 in second. And the Nissan Skyline R34 Drag in third place. Absolutely incredible. Loving the speederboard. Let's get outside, though, and say goodbye to the Dodge Charger 777. There she is, that engine under there looking absolutely beautiful. So impressed by that one. And obviously the interior, I think I did a great job with that. Looks absolutely fantastic. I've never checked in the trunk. You've got the oil filler in there, fuel filler, sorry, and then plus some stickers on the underside. I'm not sure quite what that's all about, but never mind. And then the other side there. So we are all finished with this one. It is now time to talk some facts and figures about this beautiful Dodge Charger 777. Now, I bought it at the beginning for 84,430 and could sell it at a loss, but only as a loss of 805. Not too bad at all, but we've since spent 80,226 modifying and upgrading this beautiful Dodge Charger today, putting our total spend at 164,656. Not too shabby, still quite a lot of money. Can we make a profit on this one today, though? We've already made a little bit of money from the drag racing, but it's time to sell this beautiful car on to another happy customer. All 100% complete, looking absolutely fantastic. Now up to 2,196 horsepower, a gain of 89%. But can we make a profit? Our total spend 164,656. 297,835 sale. That's absolutely incredible. Take away what we spent leaves us with a profit of 133,175 plus our drag strip winnings puts us at a profit of 143,425. Absolutely fantastic. This one is modded in by Payne. There is a link in the description below if you want to grab this one yourself to play around with, but we need to get it sold. Off you go, Dodge Charger. Definitely a lot of fun. What have we got up next? Well, it's a bit somber. It's a bit sad. We've lost the lovely Ken Block, who's definitely an inspiration to me. So for our next build, we're going to do the Ford Mustang Hoonicorn. This one is the Street Edition just there. That's what we're going to base it on. Probably going to end up with the version 3 livery, but I'm not 100% sure about that one at the moment. Did I get a good deal? I did not, but I'm not bothered. 20,424 is what we paid, and I could sell it for 18,756, losing out on 1,668, but I'm sure we'll be able to claw that one back anyway. And this one, wrong button, this one's got on it the V8 double overhead cam, a supercharged engine. That's why we changed the engine in the Charger today. So we didn't do two engines the same, one after the other. This one's got factory of 999 horsepower. We will obviously be adding performance parts, trying to make this one as absolutely as incredible as we can. But that's it. This one's going to be for next time, and I hope you have enjoyed today's video. If you did, please consider leaving a like, leaving a comment, and subscribing. We're hoping to get up to 500 subscribers by my birthday, which is the 19th of February. And if we do, we're going to build a beautiful drag strip fire truck. It's going to be incredible. I hope you guys will enjoy it. But again, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a wonderful, wonderful day, whatever you're getting up to. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.